Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Heartily welcome to our press conference today. This was not planned, but you will get further information. My name is Norbert Neuser from Germany. I'm chairman of the Intergroup. I couldn't share the trip because the trip was planned until the weekend, and because of this, I was not able to go with the group. So I didn't make this bad experience yesterday my colleagues made. I just want to introduce our participants. On my right side, Isabella Lövin, Vicent Ramón Garcés from the S&D group from Spain, Isabella Lövin is from the Greens from Sweden, and Ivo Vajgl from ALDE from Slovenia. These are the short remarks from my side. We have half an hour until 2:30, and we have translation in English, France, and Spanish. So I think it's your turn now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Ivo Vajgl. I'm a member of the group of ALDE, Group Liberals from Slovenia. I already distributed my statement in order to save some time. I used to be a journalist in my previous life, so I know how important it is to be concise and to give the information on a written way. I would just like to make some accents. First of all, I would like to underline that the issue of Western Sahara is a very well present issue in European Parliament. We have been voting in the last 2.5, 3 years upon several resolutions concerning the Sahrawi people and their human rights being violated in Western Sahara. We passed several resolutions pointing on the violation of human rights in Morocco at large. We were pointing on the disregard of the international law and resolutions of Security Council and other international fora. So it is a well-known issue. It was therefore no surprise that the Intergroup for Western Sahara showed the interest to visit occupied territory and to meet the representatives of different organizations, of civil society, but of course we wanted to meet also the local Moroccan authorities, and we requested to meet them. After what happened yesterday, and I will not describe this scenario, it was humiliating, it was absolutely unacceptable, it was demonstration of totalitarian disregard of decency and democratic standards. I am afraid that the biggest damage has been inflicted to the people which wanted to meet us, and we wanted to meet them and talk about the human rights and talk about the basic freedoms. We didn't go to Western Sahara with the intention to take the side, to be agent of any part in the conflict, as it was described in a miserable letter of Moroccan ambassador to European Union on a very unacceptable way. You will read this. We submitted this piece of art on and diplomatic disbehavior, so you can see it. I have been a long time, 30 years, ambassador and Minister of Foreign Affairs. I never met such a language in my diplomatic practice. I would like only to point on some phenomena. Morocco is obviously playing a game with this parliament by talking to and caring for the members of parliament who are explicitly pro-Moroccan, and they label the others as being anti-Moroccan or being pro-Algerian or being pro-Polisario. I strongly reject this kind of accusations. It is also a kind of propagandistic, superficial approach, undignified for this House, and I reject it strongly. On the hand of the letter we got from the Moroccan ambassador, I think the appropriate answer would be to close the doors of European Parliament for Moroccan ambassador forever, and be very restrictive to anybody who is seeing European Parliament as a media to discriminate the decent policy. So it cannot be accepted. I would just at the end say I certainly expect the appropriate reaction of External Action Service. I am wondering how come Lady Ashton has not found the time to issue a statement on what happened yesterday. I am even more astonished that the President of the European Parliament did not find the time to make a statement. We elected him, and I think he should be committed to protect the dignity of any parliamentarian, even though we know there are such and another type of delegations, but we are all the members of European Parliament and deserve to be treated as such. At the very end, I would like to say that after a trip which was rather traumatic, we had a surprise on the airports of European Union. There was a greeting committee of the French police at the airport Charles de Gaulle. About 6 or 8 policemen, heavily armed and well dressed, waited for us, and they took us as being criminals or illegal immigrants. They took us throughout entire Charles de Gaulle airport to the police station, and they said, well, you know, if somebody expelled, we have to make these kind of procedures. So, and I reminded them that if they know that we are Europeans and a member of the European Parliament, and that as far as I am well informed, France is also a member of the European Union, so they should be friendly to us. It didn't help, so we went through this rather shameful experience, and I was informed that our Spanish friend was treated the same way by the Spanish police. Just when he raised the voice, they became more friendly than the French. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, I had forgotten to mention Willy Meyer. He was the 4th member of our delegation. He's now back in Spain, so he's not here today, but the experience was the same. Isabella, please.
Yes, thank you very much. I agree totally with the description Ivo just gave of our experience. I've come to have a certain interest in the issue of Western Sahara through my work in Fisheries Committee. I'm a full member of the Fisheries Committee. And I'd just like to explain that the Fisheries Committee 2 years ago tried to organize an official delegation to go to Morocco and to visit the territory of Western Sahara in order to in situ really see the conditions there for the Sahrawi people and also make our own view whether or not the fisheries agreement with Morocco is according to international law, meaning that it should be to the benefits and be according to the wishes of the Sahrawi people. This request from the chairman of the Fisheries Committee, Mrs. Fraga, was submitted in very due time, and Morocco did not answer to that during a number of months. I think it was more than 4 months, before we, after many, many questions to the Moroccan embassy, got an answer that they unfortunately did not have time to receive a delegation from Fisheries Committee during that year. So it was, they didn't have time an entire year. So this is just to explain, because there's some accusations in the letter that you can read from the Moroccan ambassador, that this is not an official delegation and therefore we're not kind of trustworthy or impartial, but that Morocco even did not welcome an official delegation that went through all the ordinary channels. And I'm particularly surprised that the way we were treated yesterday, knowing that representatives from Morocco visited the Swedish parliament. I'm Swedish. I think it was 2 weeks ago. And there were great reassurances because the Swedish parliament, you might not know that, but the Swedish parliament voted in favor of recognizing the Republic of Western Sahara, so the independent Republic of Western Sahara, a few months ago. And this representative from Morocco that came to the Swedish parliament ensured all the Swedish parliamentarians that they were completely welcome to visit Morocco and the so-called southern provinces, which is Western Sahara, anytime. And they were so welcome to come anytime. And in fact, I even brought with me this newspaper article with this statement in case I could show it to someone at the customs office in Casablanca. But unfortunately, the way we were treated, we were just allowed to just step one step outside of the aeroplane, and there were no discussions. We could not discuss with anyone, so I didn't even get to show that newspaper article and show that I am a Swedish citizen and also an elected member of the European Parliament. So I'd like to stress that we are not provocateurs, we're not activists, we're not torpedoes, and the language used in that letter from the Moroccan ambassador is quite shocking, I must say, completely outrageous. And I completely agree with Ivo that we expect our representatives in the European Union and in our respective countries to react to those words accordingly. The co-president of the Green Group, Dani Cohn-Bendit, and myself have issued a press statement. I think it should be ready by now, where we condemn what happened yesterday. So that is that. And then I'd just like to return very briefly to the fisheries agreement with Morocco. As you know, the European Parliament voted against that 2 years ago, and now new negotiations concerning a new protocol is underway. One of the issues is that the Commissioner Damanaki, she has insisted that there be a human rights clause in the new protocol on fisheries. And to me it's very, very clear that it's not enough to just simply have a clause saying that in cases of serious breaches of human rights the protocol may be suspended, but to look at the actual situation today. What does it look like? And we know that on the ongoing 22nd session of the Human Rights Council of the UN in Geneva right now, in just a couple of days, the new report from the Special Rapporteur on Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman and Degrading Treatment or Punishment, Juan Mendes, will present his report on Morocco. And it really confirms that torture and cruel, inhuman treatment is going on right now. So this, for me, makes it very clear that the human rights clause in the fisheries agreement, it cannot only be words, but we have to also see some action. And just to include the occupied territory of Western Sahara today in the fisheries protocol and giving access to EU fishermen to fish in the waters of Western Sahara is not according to international law, and it cannot be consistent with a human rights clause. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabel. Now, please, Vicent, Ramón, Garcés, your experiences.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much indeed. I'll be speaking Spanish, as simultaneous interpretation is available. And I would like to express my agreement with everything that's already been said by my colleagues. And I would like to stress how serious the event was that took place yesterday. There were 4 members of the European Parliament in total, 4 different nationalities, 4 different parliamentary political groups. And we saw how our rights of free movement were restricted. We were not allowed to enter a democratic country with which the EU fosters excellent relations. And there were no valid arguments to justify this. When the Moroccan police stopped us at the airport, we asked who they were, on the basis of what order were they stopping us, could they give us some documentation. They refused to respond. They didn't know who had given the order. There was no documentation provided. They didn't identify themselves. And once again, they put us back on the plane which had took us from Paris to Casablanca. And the 4th member, who isn't here today, was travelling from Madrid to Casablanca. And the conduct was unacceptable. So we were travelling as 4 members of the European Parliament, and our intention was just to listen to civil society and the authorities of the occupied territory of Western Sahara. We wanted to have a better idea of what was happening vis-à-vis human rights. And we'd been travelling at a time when there was a trial in Rabat leading to sentences without guarantees being imposed on many human legal associations and human rights associations. So there was the trial in Rabat with 2 MEPs present, and they were allowed to attend the trial. So we can see that what happened was deliberate. It was premeditated. Someone gave the order to detain these 4 MEPs. Now, I previously was an MEP in the previous term of office. I was a member of the Western Sahara Intergroup then as well, and we did travel then to the territories where there were the Sahrawi people's refugee camps, and we travelled without any difficulty. The Algerian authorities didn't cause any problems. There were no problems with the Sahrawi authorities. And we wanted to see what was going on in the occupied territories. Now, the question is, what does the Kingdom of Morocco want to hide? What do they want us MEPs not to see in the occupied territories? What do they want us not to hear? I think yesterday was clear interference by the Moroccan authorities vis-à-vis the European Parliament and its members. It was a way of stopping them getting full and balanced information. Well, yesterday they didn't let us get into the country. They didn't only stop us going from Laâyoune. They stopped us getting into the country, and they actually expelled us from the country. And that's serious enough for the European Parliament to adopt a position, the parliamentary groups, and the highest representative of the Parliament as well needs to adopt a position. Various initiatives have been mentioned. As far as I'm concerned, I did turn to the president of my group, asking for the group to adopt a position and this to be communicated to the President of Parliament. Now, obviously yesterday's events were very serious, but something even more important is what the people in the Western Sahara are experiencing every day. Their rights are being infringed. The UN resolutions stating their right to self-determination are not being complied with. Their right to self-determination is not being respected, and human rights are being violated as situations are arising, such as those known to all and sundry. So we tried to see all this for ourselves, and I think that's the most serious thing. It's the serious situation facing a population whose rights are restricted and who have difficulties of all types, difficulty surviving. And we tried to make some calls from the plane yesterday to the EU representative in Morocco, Mr. Alain Ndeboro, and he said to us that he'd tried to look at the real scope of the letter sent by the embassy in Brussels, and he said really what that meant was that we were not going to be allowed to enter. And he noted what was being done, passed it on to his superiors, and we do hope that the EEAS authorities will make a statement on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Vicent Ramón Garcés, and heartily welcome to you. Our colleague from Spain, Masip Hidalgo, he had visited and he had the chance to go to the trial in Rabat some weeks ago. I just want to add what we are planning to do as intergroup of Western Sahara. I think we have a lot of negotiations with the European Parliament, in the European Parliament, with our President of the European Parliament, and within the political groups on the issue of human rights. I think it's highest time that there will be an official fact-finding mission of the European Parliament on the issue of human rights to go to Western Sahara. We are always claiming it, but nothing happens by European Parliament. I think now, after this experience, it's highest time to organize this official fact-finding mission. So we have now 6 minutes for questions and answers. Please just short introduce and...
Teresa Küchler, Svenska Dagbladet. Tengo una pregunta para el señor Garcés.
I've got a question to Mr. Garcés Ramón. You didn't tell us what happened. Well, we're hearing about what went on in Morocco and in Charles de Gaulle Airport. Was there any threat of violence at any time, either on the part of the Moroccan authorities or in Paris? And between Morocco and Spain, I imagine that there are major bilateral relations which are closer than those relations between Morocco and other countries which are a bit further away. What do you think the Spanish government should do if two MEPs have been ill-treated?
Mr. Vajgl, the letter that you speak about and the language in it, I have unfortunately not read this letter. Would you care for, if it's not too harsh, tell us, give us some examples from this letter, or is it here somewhere? Oh, sorry, then no problem, then I'll get it.
Yes, quickly, to answer the two questions asked. With regard to Casablanca airport and Paris airport, there was no physical aggression or violence at all. There was some intimidation in terms of numbers. There were 4 of us, and in Casablanca, there were about 12 people around us. And in Paris airport, there were an awful lot of police. So there was intimidation in that they didn't let us move forward. They blocked the way for us. They asked for our passports, but they didn't identify themselves. And with regard to the Spanish authorities and the government, well, I think some initiative needs to be taken, some sort of protest, because 2 Spanish citizens weren't allowed to enter a country with which we have open diplomatic and other relations. And furthermore, as members of parliament, as well as Spanish citizens, they have twofold legitimacy. So that's what I'd ask my government to do. Maybe something more needs to be done. But I think that's what needs to be done in terms of urgent measures.
Okay.
Excuse me, just for all the rest who the people participants of the conference who were interested in the letter of the ambassador, you can take it. There is we provided enough copies for the letter, so I don't need to quote it.
Please.
Don Melvin, Associated Press. You've said in your statement that you notified Moroccan authorities in advance of your intended visit. Can you tell me when and to whom that was done, and was it done in written form?
Embassy.
We informed the embassy of Morocco that we are going there. We informed them about the foreseen program. We told them that there are NGOs with us, that we are going to have information from United Nations MINURSO, that we want to have meetings with the family of prisoners and with local authorities.
How far in advance was that?
When was it?
When?
So we informed them 25th of February. Written, yes.
And we got the answer of the ambassador, this incriminated piece of paper, when we were already on the train between Brussels and Paris. I would just like to add a small but important thing. In the letter, ambassador is saying the population of Tindouf camps are deprived of their fundamental rights. And he is speaking cynically about the women in the camps of refugees being discriminated. I must tell you, my first contact with the problem of Western Sahara was a visit to the Tindouf camps. And I was absolutely amazed with the degree of emancipation of women and a high level of humanity when it is about the education of children and the position of the women of the society, and that such an efficient and decent organization of the camps in impossible living circumstances. And now somebody is talking about the human rights and the people, population in camps who are deprived of fundamental rights. Yes, they are deprived of the fundamental rights of homeland. And it was Morocco who took them away the right of living in their own country, in their own homes. This is the basic problem. And all the rest is cynical, and I don't have the words to describe it. There will be tomorrow in this Parliament an event dedicated to the discrimination of the women in the camps of refugee camps. Fantastic idea, really. Cynicism beyond the imagination.
Okay, so last question, because we are out of time running.
Just the last question about the composition of your group. Mr. Meyer from Spain has been expelled from Morocco before at visits with the same intent. I'm just wondering if could it be that, you know, if it's his third attempt, that the Moroccan authorities simply say, we don't want this man in, and it's become a prestige matter. I don't know, was it maybe, should we be wiser to pick somebody else?
We are all MEPs. It doesn't matter from which country, from which political group. And the group went together. They want to make the same experience. They want to see about the situation of human rights. We even discussed the problem if they wouldn't allow him to go in. We said the issue of human rights is so important, maybe they will send him home. And he said then the rest of the group should go, but it wasn't allowed to the others. So we are at the end, so thank you very much. One short information about the report of the Special Rapporteur on torture and other cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment from Juan Mendes. We have the conclusions and recommendations for you outside. So if you want to have further information, please contact our offices. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for the translation.